Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hidden Korea. We dive into a story that's sending shockwaves through the entertainment world. Dispatch has done it again, this time catching Chae-min and Yoon-ah in a moment that speaks louder than words. A quiet street, a bouquet of flowers, and two stars whose chemistry can no longer be hidden. What really happened behind that gentle smile and those glances that lingered just a little too long? Stay with us, you won't want to miss what comes next. Night air over Seoul shimmered with a quiet electricity, the kind that comes right before a storm. Hidden behind tinted car windows and camera lenses. Dispatch had been watching for weeks. Rumors had been circulating. Whispers traded between makeup rooms and drama sets. There's something between Chae-min and Yoon-ah. Most dismissed it as gossip, but not Dispatch. They had seen the patterns, the late-night calls, the matching schedules, the coincidental coffee runs that somehow always overlapped. On the evening of October 30th, the truth began to unfold. At 8:47 p.m., a black sedan rolled into a quiet alley near Cheongdam. The driver stayed inside. But from the back seat, a familiar silhouette emerged. Even under the dim streetlight, there was no mistaking the tall frame and sharp jawline, Chae-min, the rising star known for his gentle charm and disarming smile. Or a simple cap and mask, the universal disguise of celebrities who wish to be invisible. But the eyes, those calm, expressive eyes, gave him away. He waited. 10 minutes later, another car arrived. A soft pink umbrella peeked out first, followed by a woman whose elegance could not be hidden even beneath a mask. I'm Yoon-ah, the nation's beloved actress, the icon of grace. And perhaps the last person anyone would expect to be caught in such a scene. She held a bouquet of white lilies, their fragrance trailing through the cool air. Chae-min's expression softened instantly, his eyes lighting up in a way no drama script could ever capture. He took the bouquet from her with a shy grin. His brushing, brief, but charged. Dispatch's camera clicked in that exact second, the moment love was no longer rumor, but evidence. They didn't speak loudly. Their conversation was quiet, intimate, the kind where silence carries more meaning than words. Yoon-ah laughed softly, covering her mouth, while Chae-min looked at her the way a man does when he's lost between admiration and disbelief. It wasn't the look of a fan. It wasn't the look of a co-star. It was something deeper, the kind of gaze that says, I can't believe you're really here. Dispatch agents noted the detail. They were careful, too careful. No phones, no selfies, no lingering in public places. They walked together for just a few blocks before parting ways, each returning to their respective cars. What followed turned an ordinary meeting into a headline. At 9:15 p.m., Yoon-ah's car didn't go home. Instead, it followed Chae-min's sedan down to the Han River. Dispatch tailed from behind, headlights dimmed, near the quiet riverside park. Both vehicles stopped. There was no crowd, no one else in sight, just the sound of water brushing against the stones and the hum of the city beyond. Chae-min stepped out first, holding the bouquet she'd given him. Moments later, Yoon-ah joined him. They stood close, their shoulders almost touching, speaking softly. The world seemed to pause around them. Dispatch's photographer would later describe the scene as too cinematic to be real. Then, it happened, the moment that would ignite headlines across the country. Chae-min reached into his jacket and pulled out a small, delicate box, not large enough for jewelry, but too precious to be casual. He handed it to her with both hands. Yoon-ah's eyes widened, and for a split second, her professional composure broke into a genuine, stunned smile. The flash of emotion was fleeting but unforgettable, a real reaction, not one rehearsed for cameras or fans. When she leaned forward, whispering something close to his ear, the city lights reflected off the river like scattered diamonds. Dispatch had their shot, the proof no one could deny. By the next morning, the images were ready. Chae-min and Yoon-ah, two names now tied together by the bouquet, the night, and the undeniable chemistry that neither could hide any longer. No one knew was that this wasn't their first meeting. Far from it. The story stretched back weeks, through late-night rehearsals, secret cafe encounters, and one very telling slip during a live broadcast. Faces were there all along, waiting for someone to put them together. And Dispatch had just done that. By dawn, the city was awake, not because of the sunrise, but because of the storm that had just broken online. Dispatch's article went live at 6:03 a.m. And within minutes, the internet erupted. Lee Chae-min and Yoon-ah, caught red-handed. Is this the new power couple of K-drama? Every platform exploded with the same photos, Chae-min holding a bouquet of white lilies. Yoon-ah smiling softly beside him under the streetlight. The air between them seemed to shimmer even in still images. Within an hour, hashtags were trending across Korea. Yoon-ah Lee Chae-min. Dispatch love scandal. Bouquet date. The public was divided, admiration and disbelief tangled in equal measure. Some called it a fairy tale come to life. Others accused Dispatch of fabricating moments from coincidence. Photographs spoke louder than words, the way he looked at her. The unspoken warmth that even masks couldn't hide, it was impossible to fake. Inside SM Entertainment, tension spiked. Staffers scrambled as journalists flooded inboxes demanding comments. Meanwhile, Min's agency, in disbelief, held an emergency meeting. One insider whispered to the press, "We didn't even know they were closed." Agencies exchanged cautious statements, each buying time with phrases like "we are verifying the facts." But Dispatch had more than just one set of photos. Behind the scenes, the team had tracked them for nearly a month. The first sighting wasn't at the Han River, it was 2 weeks earlier, at a small florist in Samcheongdong. I had walked in quietly, cap low, mask up, speaking softly to the shop owner. 15 minutes later, Lee Chae-min entered from the back door, pretending to browse succulents. Audiences met once. Just once, but to Dispatch's trained eyes, it was enough. For several nights, Dispatch had followed them through the quiet corners of Seoul, late dinners near the Hanok village, coffee at a hidden cafe in Itaewon, even a brief encounter at a rehearsal hall. Every time, they were careful. Every time, separated quickly, never leaving a trace. But love, as it always does, leaves trails in the smallest gestures, the way she adjusted a scarf in the cold, the way he waited behind her car until it disappeared into traffic. What made this story explode wasn't just the photographs, it was who they were. I'm Yoon-ah, the nation's sweetheart, who has always kept her private life sealed. Lee Chae-min, the new generation actor, humble yet magnetic, rising faster than anyone predicted. Together, they were an unexpected match, one that felt both impossible and inevitable. At noon, Dispatch released a follow-up. Title alone made hearts race. Not a coincidence, Dispatch reveals weeks of secret meetings. Screenshots, timestamps, blurred locations, everything lined up. The evidence was airtight. Then came the emotional blow. At 2:15 p.m., Yoon-ah's stylist posted a cryptic message on Instagram. "Some flowers don't bloom in the sunlight, they're meant for the quiet night." The internet went wild. This her way of confirming it? Of defending it? Nobody knew. But by evening, fans had already turned the phrase into an anthem, love hidden, yet undeniable. Meanwhile, reporters flooded the set of their upcoming drama. Members avoided questions. Though one assistant quietly confessed, their chemistry on set was real. We all felt it, but no one dared to say it. Night fell again over Seoul. Both stars remained silent. No denial. No confirmation. Just silence, the kind that said more than any press release ever could. Outside Chae-min's apartment, reporters waited in the cold. Cameras poised. Inside, the lights stayed off. Curtains drawn. Across the city, Yoon-ah's apartment was the same, still, distant, private. Yet, Dispatch's final note in the article sent chills down every reader's spine. Love hides, but truth follows its scent, like lilies in the dark. The next morning, something unexpected happened. Of outrage. Fans began to flood social media with support. If it's real, I hope they're happy. Let them love in peace. Look beautiful together. What began as a scandal slowly transformed into a story, not of betrayal, but of two people daring to feel in a world that watches too closely. For Dispatch, it was a headline. For fans, it was a revelation. But for Lee Chae-min and Yoon-ah, it was the moment their private world collided with the public gaze. A single bouquet of flowers had exposed what words never could: love. Fragile yet fearless. Standing quietly under the harsh flash of cameras. And as the lights of Seoul flickered once more, the question remained. Was this the beginning of something beautiful? Or the end of something they never meant to show? Only time would tell. The third day after Dispatch broke the news, Seoul no longer felt the same. Boards flashed with their faces. Entertainment panels replayed the photos. And talk shows dissected every detail, the bouquet, the glances, even the distance between their shoulders. The scandal had evolved into an obsession. But behind the curtain of media frenzy, something darker was stirring. At 11:23 p.m., an anonymous post appeared on an online forum frequented by entertainment insiders. The title was simple: "You don't know the full story." In minutes, it climbed to the top. The post claimed that the bouquet scene captured by Dispatch wasn't spontaneous. That it was their final meeting before an unexpected separation. The anonymous user claimed to be part of a production staff on their drama set. They weren't just co-stars, the post read. Under pressure doesn't survive the spotlight. By the Han River wasn't a beginning. It was goodbye. Fans froze. Reporters rushed to verify. Was the sweet, delicate moment by the river not the start of a romance, but the end of one? Dispatch stayed silent, fueling the mystery. Meanwhile, Yoon-ah canceled all scheduled appearances. Her team released a short statement: "We ask for privacy." Chae-min, on the other hand, appeared briefly at a press event, pale and quiet. His usual bright energy was gone, replaced by an uneasy calm. When asked if he had anything to say about the rumors, he hesitated for 3 seconds too long before whispering. Sometimes, silence is the kindest answer. Words became headlines. Silence became confession. But the truth, as always, more complicated. A week before Dispatch's reveal, Yoon-ah had reportedly been approached by an international project, a film shooting overseas for several months. According to industry whispers, she had confided in a friend, "I don't want to hurt him by staying and pretending we can hide forever." That final night, the night Dispatch caught them, was when they chose to meet one last time. The bouquet of white lilies was her parting gift. Not the box, a small charm she had once admired on set, as a memory. They both knew what it meant, something beautiful, ending quietly. But love stories, once captured on camera, gone a life of their own. What was meant to be a private farewell turned into a public declaration. The nation, unknowingly, mistook closure for confession. And yet, fate seemed to mock the idea of endings. Days later, fans noticed something peculiar. On November 1st, both Yoon-ah and Chae-min were seen wearing identical silver bracelets, subtle, barely visible. Same design. When asked, both agencies denied any connection. Still, the internet buzzed, a promise hidden in plain sight. Dispatch, of course, couldn't resist. Article dropped, "The bracelet mystery, love silent continuation." The piece didn't accuse, didn't expose, it suggested. Masterstroke of insinuation that reignited everything once more. By this point, neither of them could control the storm. The press followed every car, every cafe visit, every social media post. Yet through the chaos, neither spoke another word. No statements, no denials. Only silence, heavy, deliberate, protective. And in that silence, the public began to see something different. They saw not scandal, sincerity, not deceit, but two souls caught in a system too bright for love to survive. Weeks later, at an awards ceremony, Destiny staged its cruel encore. Both were nominated, she for Best Actress, he for Rising Star. The moment Yoon-ah walked on stage, the crowd erupted. Cameras searched for Chae-min. He was there, sitting quietly, hands clasped, eyes fixed on her. She accepted the award with her signature grace. But as she thanked her fans, her voice trembled, just once. "To those who understand that silence sometimes means care, thank you." A pause. The audience went still. Cameras panned, catching Chae-min smiling faintly, most imperceptibly. It was a moment without words. Yet it said everything. When the ceremony ended, Dispatch released one final update. No new photos. No evidence, just a single line beneath their original headline. "Love, whether hidden or revealed, always leaves a trace." And somewhere in Seoul, city lights blinked through the mist. Two cars crossed paths at a quiet intersection, headlights glancing off rain-specked glass. A shadow of a smile. And brushing against a window. A bouquet long gone, but a story that would never fade. Time moved on, as it always does. Noise eventually faded. The headlines dissolved. And the world found new stories to chase. But somewhere, deep in the memory of those who witnessed it, night, the bouquet, The river. The quiet gaze never disappeared. Lee Chae-min returned to his work, calmer, more introspective. Told a colleague, off record. Some moments aren't meant to last, they're meant to change you. I'm Yoon-ah, too, continued to shine. Smile as serene as ever. Yet in every role she played after that, there was a new depth, a quiet sorrow beneath the grace. A warmth that felt too real to be just acting. Batch, for once, moved on to other stories. But even their photographers admitted, not every secret we reveal feels like a victory. Some just feel human. Perhaps that's what this story truly was, not a scandal, not a betrayal, but a fragile reminder that behind every flash of the camera lies a heart trying to love quietly, against impossible odds. In a world that demands perfection, their story whispered something different. That love, no matter how brief, leaves light behind. Thank you to every reader who followed this story from beginning to end, through the whispers, the chaos, and the silence. In the fast-beating world of entertainment, where truth and illusion often intertwine. Curiosity that keeps the light on stories that deserve to be felt, not just read. Until the next untold chapter. This was Hidden Korea, where every story hides a heartbeat.